you mean Matt here. So, Hell in a Cell is in the books. And, you know what? For the flack I gave the main event, it really was a good show. I mean, there's one match I'll talk about that I really enjoyed. But, yeah, here it is. So, one of the pre-show matches, well, the only pre-show match, was the Sexy Muscle Friends versus Natalya and Tamina, which I talked about it as being one of the possible matches for the show, but take a look for yourself. Also, I think that, I mean, you got the Sexy Muscle Friends and Natalya and Tamina. They had their thing on Monday. So...
I mean, yeah, you could have Dana and Mandy challenge for the women's tag titles at Hell in a Cell.
I mean, my opinion is too little too fucking late. I mean,
yeah.
They're gonna be the women's tag team champions at some point. But you already have these third generation wrestlers. Or second generation wrestlers, I'm sorry. And they're already a good tag team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's keep it that way. But, who knows? You know?
And another thing, too, is like, okay, you've got the feuds building up with Dana and Mandy and Natalya and Tamina. You gotta let it simmer a little bit more. Let it build up a little bit longer, and then...
Let it marinate.
Yeah. So to do it right out of the gate probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, even if it was a non-title match, even if it was on the pre-show,
well, yeah,
fine.
Yeah. So, this was a decent match. Obviously, it wasn't for tag team titles, but it was a solid wrestling match, and Natalya put the sharpshooter on Mandy. It was Mandy and Natalya, but there's a lot of good holds, obviously, and yeah, very good match. And obviously, hopefully, in the future, who knows, Money in the Bank maybe, take team titles on the line. One can hope. So you had Bayley versus Bianca Belair start off the show, and holy shit. I mean, look, here's a show of amazing. Bianca used her hair a lot, obviously, and I mean, Bayley took advantage of that, tied her braid to the rope and beat the shit out of her, but of course, Bianca was able to get out and take it out Bayley, but, you know, everything was used, you know. Fucking kendo sticks were used. I really fucking enjoyed this. This was a good match. So, Bayley ended up losing, and Bianca is still your champion, which I actually agree with, you know. As I said, I don't believe that Bayley should have the title right now, so I'm glad they went with that. So, another prediction we had was right. You had Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. This was a good back and forth, and I can't remember how many swings Cesaro gave Seth, but it was a good back and forth, and Cesaro was injured because he had the tape on, so then, yeah, Seth took advantage of that, and they had wrestled on the outside, and then, of course, Seth ended up getting a win, so they're even now, and we'll see when the next match is. And like I said, I think Seth should have won. Again, it's just one of those things where one person wins, another person wins, and then we have the rubber match. So we'll see. The feud's definitely not over by a fucking long shot. That's the truth. This bizarre match, Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. Whatever.
Foul!
So, I mean, yeah, this was a good match. And basically, a comedy match. You know, Shayna tried to use the MMA style stuff as well, but it was not to good avail, and Alexa actually hypnotized Naya on the outside to slap her edge and all. That was kind of funny. And then, you know, fucking Alexa tried to go after Shayna with that, and yeah, this was a good match. And Alexa ended up winning, which I was kind of hoping that would happen. So it was an okay match. I mean, it was good for what it was, honestly. And so that's all I could say about that. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Again, another good match. You know, we have Kevin recovering from the Samoan spike. So it was kind of like, alright, well, this was kind of just, we'll see what happens. And still good offense from Kevin, and saying he ended up getting the win, even though he got a stunner from the outside and everything else. So, you know, just like the Seth and Cesaro match, like we predicted, you know, it's kind of like a one-on-one thing. And so we'll see if they have a match in the future. I'm hoping both of them could have their rubber match. And I know this could be predictable, but Money in the Bank. So we'll see. We have Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. And it was an okay match for what it was. You had Charlotte do the figure eight. You had everything that was good about it. Disqualification. So, in the main event, you have Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, and I did shit on it. I really did. I thought it was stupid, but this was a good match. He used most of the stuff that Bayley and Bianca used. And there was a table. You know, MVP got involved when you had the referee running in the match. You know, you saw MVP get into the cell. But the right man won, and Lashley is still your champion. I kind of was hoping for a surprise from anybody, like, whatever, but that didn't happen, and then we just went off the air. So this was a good show, you know, and despite the Charlotte Rhea match, which, whatever, this was a good show, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Anymore. So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. But you know, I think that there's this myth out there that Jamie Keller that's why he took pleasure in cutting WCW. I don't think that's the case at all. Because if you look at some of his earlier interviews, like